Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks so much for popping in. I hope your week started well. Monday can be a bit of a funny day, can't it? So, and you know what? A few of you have messaged me and got in touch and you're really struggling at the minute. So, do you know what? Extra special hug for you before we start. So come on in, plump those cushions up, get comfy, and let's have a bit of a crafty chat and a bit of time together. Now, while we're chatting, I'm going to create a design. Now, for those of you who've got the calendars, and I am aware that a lot of you didn't, so again, I'll be doing this on a card. So it does show you, these designs, it's just a design, and you can pop it in your journal, on a card. You can even just make it on a piece of card and then decide what you're going to do with it, whether you pop it on a card or add it to your journal. You don't have to decide straight away. I mean, it's October in my calendar, so I'm thinking this design could even go on trick or treat bags. You see, there's a thought, isn't it? You could make your designs now, and then when it gets near the time for trick or treat, you've got them ready to go on those bags. Now, obviously October, I had to think of something sort of Halloween and mystical, but the inspiration came from the lovely design at the base, and it's our lovely pumpkin carriage. So I thought I'd have a bit of a play, and in my head I've got our lovely Ariel, I think it's Ariel here, and she's casting a spell and turning our little urchin, which is now a pumpkin, into the pumpkin carriage. And I'm hoping, can you see, we've got the wink of Stella, which just adds to the magic. Now, as you know, my photography skills, I really need to learn some photography skills, but I'm hoping you can pick, especially on the carriage here, look, and on the one that we've got that lovely sparkle. So like I say, we'll recreate this, but I did want it to go, because for me, the whole thing with these lovely calendars, when they're up, is you get that whole cohesive design. Now, I'm going to put this here so I can see what I've done. And I thought I'd start off with a piece of card, and I've taken it out of my multi-pack. So I'm going for the A5, and I'm thinking the design should fit nicely that way. And just to double check, I'm just going to get my acetate from our lovely Ariel and just check, yes. I was just checking height-wise. But I mean, you could always do it this way, narrow it down. But I'm thinking to give me room for my carriage and my pumpkin. So I'm happy with that. So I'll file this pack of card on the floor next to Eric. And for those of you who've asked, Eric's doing fine, thank you. He has an autoimmune disease, bless him. It's quite funny because I have, who'd have thought it? And so he's gone white. Anybody who meets him at the workshops and things, bless him, he's gone white all down his back, and he's got arthritis, and he has to have physio every 6 weeks and medication. But do you know what? He's a lovely, happy Labrador. So I'm going to start with my stamping. And I'm going to be mindful to ink up. One thing I've learnt over the years is I used to rest my block, and I know a lot of us do it. And once you get ink on there, and even me, try and be tidy, but we do get ink on, and it goes on my work. So I'm trying to be good. But often we forget to be good, don't we? The only reason, quite a few of you message me and ask me why I'm such a tidy crafter, and it's only because experience has taught me when I'm not, that's when I get ink on my work, and I either have to start again or I need that emergency butterfly. So that's why. So I'm just going to turn this to the side just because it's easier for me. And I'm just going to put, I don't want to write at the edge, I want a bit of there, and we shall stamp her. And again, she's a lovely big stamp. So just going to make sure, me being me, she's a silhouette. And as I say, another lady messaged me and asked me why I had the copy paper. And it's purely because when I started off, for some reason, I have arthritis in my hands, and whether it's that or, one thing or another, I won't go on. But we all have our own little, things that's wrong with us. And I just couldn't get stamping. I couldn't get a good image. So one of the things I did was to put some copy paper underneath, and for me it just helps. It's almost like my safety blanket, so that's why, purely just that, it helps me. It might be one of those things that helps you. If it does, all well and good. If it doesn't, you know, that's just the reason I have it. So I'm going to stamp up, and I'm just using the black for these, the Nocturne. Again, I'm using the VersaFine Clay because it'll give me lovely detail, and these stamps are so beautifully drawn by Tracy. So I'm going to pop the carriage in, and I think we'll pop the carriage there. Such a beautiful stamp, this. And again, you know, I mean, I'm using it sort of in my October, obviously Halloweeny theme, but you could use it for a party. You know, I'm thinking Cinderella's ball. You could turn it into a wedding carriage. Lots of things you can do with it. And like I say, look at the detail there. Just exquisite. Oh, I like that word, exquisite. Now, in with the little urchin. This urchin is fabulous as a pumpkin, and I love stamps that have 2 or 3 uses. And as you know, I adore pound stamps. I think they're just amazing, and we'll pop that just down there. Right, and then I'm just going to blot this, just because my VersaFine Clay is a slower drying ink. Oh, look, I was looking for that the other day. My circle, I'm just going to put that to one side. That was a happy find, wasn't it? That's when I'm using my acetate circles. How often does that happen? I did a workshop recently and a lady lost an ink pad. You would think, wouldn't you? But, you know, we all know what it's like because we've all done it at home. How often does that happen? You put something down and it disappears. So, Jill, I'm hoping you found it. Let me know. And it was the Verdant, that beautiful, lovely green colour. Now, we're going to come in with our hill masks. And I'm going to use, the colour I've chosen is Violet Chalk. I'm thinking it's sort of a moody purple. And let's have a look and see if we can pop our hill mask. Now, if this doesn't go all the way, it doesn't matter because I can move it part of the way. But I'm thinking that might just, again, always blend in the lid. And if you start under the carriage, if it's a bit dark, well, that'll just add to the shadow that there would be under the carriage anyway. I'll start again under the carriage, drag along to the pumpkin, and then just under her feet. And I think that shape might actually be just perfect. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think so we'll give that a wipe before we put it away. Again, good housekeeping. And then we'll come in with our circle masks. And let's add, now again, let me have a look. So on my original design, I had it somewhere here, but I'm thinking it might look nice there. I'm thinking of that shape. If you look at the circle before you put it on, and I think for me, we've just got it just more pleasing to the eye there. So again, and it's quite nice just popping off the top of the page. I'm going to start at the bottom because that's where I want it darker anyway. And we'll just add a bit more ink. Again, start at the bottom, flick all the way round. And then we're just going to come out, and I just want a bit of colour over here. And I'm always starting, flicking off and coming, just in case. Quite often, certainly for me, I find if I was to go straight, I might get lines. So I just find it a bit more forgiving, sort of blending off the circle. Or alternatively, I could come in from the corner. And we'll add a little bit down that side. And the brushes are just perfect for this. Let's come in from this corner. I can move that now, because what I'll do is just come in from the corner, add a little bit here, and I'm being mindful to almost leave a silhouette around my stamping. I find that just helps the stamping pop a little. So we'll have a little bit down here. And I'm leaving that area because obviously that's where the magic's happening. So maybe just a little bit across the top here. And then what I want to do is just come in when I've got less ink on and almost make a cloud. That nice cloud, just a moody cloud. I'm just sort of doing circular motions. Now you can pinch your brush and go across, and that almost gives those, now I don't know my clouds, I'm sorry, I should have looked it up, shouldn't I? So that those wispy clouds, but this I want to be quite a full sort of swirly cloud. So I'm using my brush. There we go, can you see that? So I just want it to look, you know what it's like when you've got magic and you've got that movement, and well, that's what my head's telling me anyway. So I'm just going to give this a spritz and clean this up. Again, keep it nice and clean. And then I just want to add a little bit more stamping, and then we'll come in with some colour. And I love the way that this is building up. So on my original, I've added a couple of these lovely potion bottles. And I just think it gives a little bit more interest at the sides and almost helps to frame the design. So I love this one because this one's flying potion. And the carriage is going to be so magical. It's going to be able to fly. So we'll pop this one at an angle over here. And we're going to give that a wipe before I pop it back. And then I'm going to go for, I think this is glowworms. You always need some glowworms, don't you? Don't know about you ladies and gents, but you know, I find you need a good glowworm. And again, I've just done those in black because I just feel as though it helps to frame my design. Now I'm going to add some colour, and I'm going to come in with the clean colour. Now we love these, our Zig markers. If you've not got these, you can use your watercolour pencils, you can use your Elements inks and water. But I'm just going to do my little cheats bit of colouring. So, for example, for my little urchin here, my pumpkin, I'm going to start with some red, and I will pop the numbers, the colours at the bottom. But I know you're going to ask me, so this one is red, number 20. Then I'm going to go with a deeper orange, which is number 70, and that's orange, and that's aptly named. Then I've got bright yellow, which is 52. And for my blending over the top of them, I'm going to come in with tea rose, which is 220. But for me, I'm just going to, and again, I find it easier, take the lids off. And so I'm just going to come in with my deeper orange. Now we'll blend into that red and just drag it out. And then my lighter orange. And then lastly, my sort of tea, and I'm just going to leave an area of white there, and it's as simple as that. I am not a colourist by any manner of means, but for me, I think that looks shady and lovely, and you know what, it's not taken me all day. Now, it could be you want to sit and colour and spend some lovely time colouring, in which case, do you know what, go with it, make yourself a brew and enjoy it. Unfortunately for me, I don't always have the amount of time, so I've got to be honest, and you know I'm always honest with you, so I like something that I think looks effective, but it doesn't have to take me all day. But if I want to spend and I have got time, I can do. So I'm just adding a little bit of shade with the red, so it's going to be my darker colour. And then the next orange, and I'll go over the red because obviously it'll just drag a little bit of that colour and blend it. Remember, you can do your tip to tip if you want, but I find doing this way I actually don't need it. I can pick a bit of that red, blend it beautifully, and Tracy's shown us, she's put the little dots where we need the deeper colour. Bless him, Eric's just snoring, so if you can hear that, I do apologise. Then I'm going to go in with my lighter orange round that door. I can go over the whole thing if I want a bit more blend. And with my lighter colour, I'm just going to finish off. And it just looks like I've got a little bit of highlight there by doing that. If I want to come in with my red look and just deepen any areas, I'll just come in, maybe just under the door there. But I'm happy with that. While I've got the colours, I'm just going to do a wings, but I'm being mindful not to lean on that. So again, some same colours, I want it to blend. So some red, then blending that, the deep orange. And then I'm going to come in with my lighter orange over the red and the deep orange to blend them. There we go. So I'm going to put the lids on those. And then I've got a couple of green colours and a brown. So the greens I'm using are light green, which is 41, and deep green, which is 44. Then I'm going to come in with a beige, which is 72. And just for my pumpkin carriage here, again, where I've got my darker green. Now, as I say, I could go tip to tip, take some dark green onto the light. Just going to turn it round because I find it easier to drag the colour. If I wanted any more, I could just put a little up there, then just blend. And then the brown, I'm just going to use for the wheels. And I'm being mindful of not to sit here with my tongue sticking out like we do when we're colouring in. So while I'm doing a few more little things, I just want to add a little bit of faux bleaching. So I'm just going to bring in my fan brush, just on my element sink, just round the edge at the top here, and I'm going to let that work its magic. Couple of things I'm going to do. I've got this lovely Signo and it's bronze and it's a metallic one, and I just want to add a little bit round the window here on the carriage. And just a little bit on my wheels. And then with my Van Gogh pencils, I'm going to come in with the black and add a little bit of shade. Just going to get this is just a biodegradable cotton bud. I use my finger a lot, but I'm trying to be good and not end up with black on my hands. So we'll add a little bit under our pumpkin. Now under the pumpkin carriage, sort of the shadow will go this way a little, won't it? So I'll have quite a... And this one, see, I end up using my finger anyway. Try and make myself behave. And this we're going this way, and this is going to be a big shadow. Tall fairy. And this one, the shadow will be even further this way because we're further away. And again, just a little bit of grounding, a little bit of shadow. And then just going to come in with the white pencil and add a little bit of highlight. got to be mindful. I've got the black pastel pencil on my finger, haven't I? So I better just quickly wipe my finger before. We'll have a little bit on the bottle. I'm just going to wipe my finger on my inky binky and then just blend. Don't want it to be too harsh. I just want it to be subtle. So once the file was back on the floor, I put them on the floor because I'm scared of knocking them. So I'm just going to give that a blot, and I'm just going to bring in my heat tool. So I do apologise, but this is the Ranger heated up tool just for that faux bleaching, just to make sure it's nice and dry. And we'll heat from the back as well. Just keeps the card nice. Heats it up quicker because it gets the middle of the card. This is multifarious obviously, but also it just keeps it nice and flat. Lovely. So what I want to do now is just add some stars. And I've actually got my lovely little star stamp here. And I'm going to use my little Brilliance, and this is the gold. And I'm just thinking we'll have a few. Again, I'm just going to turn it round, and that's why I wanted to dry the card. Don't want to overdo it, just want a few where we've got our lovely, lovely bit of magic going on. And then I'm going to come in with my Wink of Stella. Now this is beautiful, beautiful glitter. And I'm going to just paint in, and it's going to go over the top of her wings just to glitter her up. I'm going to do my pumpkin and my lovely carriage. But what I also want to do is I'm going to use my Wink of Stella almost as a blending pen with glitter. So I'm going to add some yellow. And this is number 50. This is yellow. And I'm going to put some magic on the wand there. But then I'm going to come in with my Wink of Stella and blend that out. So I'm almost using it as a blender. So it's like a water brush, but it's got the Wink of Stella in. So when it dries, it'll be all magical, but it'll have the sparkle as well. And then if I just blend almost that to nothing. And I want to do the same just on the top of my urchin, look. My pumpkin. Again, I just want to get that idea that it's, so as I say, you could use water, but this will blend away with the sparkle. And it's just a lovely way to use these pens. So we'll have a little bit up here. And then I'm just going to add some where these lovely. I like a bit of magic, don't you? So again, and because it blends away to nothing, the nib of my Wink of Stella will be fine. But if I wanted, I could just pop it on a piece of paper and blend off, look, and it disappears. So it's a way of blending the colour out, but also adding the sparkle. And as I say, it doesn't damage your Wink of Stella at all. And I'm just going back round just to add a bit more sparkle. Just want to just blend it out a little bit more up here. It's just a bit too, you see that there? That's just a bit too yellow for me. So if I blend out more, yeah, that's better. So if I lift this up, look, can you see how we've got the yellow, but also the Wink of Stella will sparkle more as it's dry. So we've got that lovely glow, but also we've got that sparkle. And so we're nearly finished, but I have to say, I think that's lovely. I'm just going to add a sentiment, and I'm going to take it off from my... Now, I think this is number 3, sentiment stickers number 3. I write it on the back, so I'm hoping I've written the right number. And I love abracadabra. I think trick or treat would go well if it was for a trick or treat bag, but I'm thinking abracadabra because she's definitely saying abracadabra. So the usual trick, I find my scissors. Now on my original I put it across the moon. Do I still? Yep, I still think it's going to look nice there. Going right across. And then last thing to finish off, some lovely posca splats. Now what does look nice is if you actually put a yellow dot inside each of those stars. But we'll just add a few. Now if you're not happy doing your splats and you want to add some dots, add some dots. I just think it adds a little bit more magic, especially around where we've got our lovely spell here. A little bit round it, and again I'm directing it so I know exactly where, and over the clouds there. Right, I'm going to move that out of the way. Oh, you didn't see that, did you? That's my piece for edging. Because I do keep every piece of copy paper I use, you know. There we go. Now, I'm hoping that's given you some idea. But I think our beautiful pumpkin carriage there. As I say, I'm not a colourist, but I'm happy with that. And it didn't take long, did it? And using the wink of Stella to blend so you get that gorgeous glow. And as I say, as it dries, it will be even more sparkly. So if I pop that one there, if I bring in my original, so there we've got our calendar page. And then here we've got our lovely one that we've just made today. So thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for all your feedback and your lovely comments. I hope you have a lovely Monday evening, or whatever day you're watching this. Enjoy your evening, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Love and hugs from me. Happy crafting. Bye for now.